What's up, everybody? My name is Aiden, and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be discussing a Chicago Bulls and Toronto Raptors game reaction in which the Chicago Bulls did lose another preseason game. Now, the best thing about preseason is you get to discuss the positives and the negatives, and you don't necessarily need to really worry about the wins and the losses. If you'd lose this type of game in the regular season, that's pretty much all that matters. You lost the game, no matter how good or bad you played, you disappointed in the end, and there were some key weaknesses there that were probably the reason for that. Now, there were some key weaknesses in this Bulls game today. Some of them very frustrating to watch. But at the end of the day, it is about trying to learn from those and trying to make sure that those things don't become habits in the regular season. So we're going to discuss the positives and the negatives that I saw in this game, but not necessarily take it out of context or take it too seriously. You know, I'm not going to sit here and rage about things. I'm not going to sit here and massively, overreact. Just try and give my own thoughts and where do we go from here in our next preseason game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. But before we get any further, if you like the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new. And let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls, the game today, what's next to come, and what improvements can we make. We lost this game 106 to 102. It was a close game all night long, which in all fairness is something you're going to see from the Chicago Bulls very often, because one of the biggest positives I'm going to take away from this game is that our defense keeps us in games. There were some moments where it felt like either the Bulls should have ran away with it and Toronto should have ran away with it at one point in time. But at the end of the day, both defenses for both teams kept them in this game. When the Bulls looked like they were making every shot, attacking the paint, offensively looking really solid, Toronto's defense kept them in the game. And vice versa for the Chicago Bulls. When Toronto and Gary Trent were making all these threes and all these tough shots and getting to the foul line a lot more than the Bulls did, by the way. At the end of the day, the Bulls defense kept them in the game. So I give credit to both defensive displays in this timeout. Yes, there were some weaknesses. Yes, there were some key worries, offensively especially, but both defenses kept them in the game. And for the Bulls, that's going to be a key thing going on in the regular season. Our defense is going to keep us in so many games. It's about finding those ways to win them close ones, which we didn't see last season. Hopefully, when it matters the most, we will see the Bulls win a lot more closer games in the regular season. But today wasn't our night. Yes, we did use our bench to close out, as Toronto did as well. In the end, it is what it is. Let's talk about some of the negatives that I found. First and foremost, a lot of turnovers. I think we had over 20 turnovers in this game. We threw the ball away constantly. That was very frustrating to see, and it led to a lot of opportunities for Toronto to capitalize on. 2, offensive rebounding on both sides. For the Bulls, when we get offensive rebounds, we are very, very poor in actually getting those second chance points. We didn't get a whole lot of them compared to the amount of offensive rebounds we actually got. That's Drummond had a couple of missed opportunities in front of the paint. Vucevic had a couple. The only person that I really saw finish an offensive rebound was Torrey Craig today. I think he had 2 offensive rebounds and he finished both of them. But at the end of the day, that's a problem. You know, Billy Donovan's talking about, yes, we need to get more offensive rebounds. That's amazing. And I think we're doing better at it. Not perfect, because Toronto got a whole bunch of them as well, and they finished theirs. That was the difference in the game in my eyes. But the Bulls getting offensive rebounds and not finishing those opportunities is an empty stat in my eyes sometimes. So, you got to finish those opportunities. The second chance points has to come easily. And let's hope in the future we're tucking some of those away, because I don't think we tucked a whole lot of them away in preseason at all from a lot of our players. So key thing there. It's great that we're getting offensive rebounds, but to not finish them is frustrating. Again, we talked about the turnovers. Again, that's just frustrating to kind of know. Toronto's defense was spectacular, and they did cause a lot of steals and deflections, as did the Bulls. But yeah, it's frustrating to kind of see the amount of turnovers that we have, but you also got to give credit to the other team there. And I did not like how many times we fouled. I think we fouled a very, very large amount in this game. Now, I'm sure Toronto, on the other way, were fouling as well, but I don't know, just from watching from a Bulls lens, watching the Chicago Bulls and how they were playing, we fouled too much, man. We foul way too much. Some of them you can argue, most of them you can't. And I think it kind of shows in the free throws as well for Toronto compared to the Bulls. I don't have the exact stats with me. Maybe at some point in the second half we were catching up. But I felt like Toronto went to the line a lot more than the Bulls did. So That's something to worry about. That's something to be concerned about. But when you're looking at the offensive end and the positives, Kobe White, impressive again. Granted, he had 5 turnovers in this game, but, you know, it is what it is. He still had a solid game, I would say. Zach LaVine looked incredible, attacking the paint at will, making everything look easy. Vucevic, strong game. Torrey Craig, strong game. I like Javon Carter in the in his transition and in his defense as well. He was a bit of a menace in this game defensively. Again, Patrick Williams in the fourth quarter looked good, but for the vast majority of the game was extremely underwhelming. So there's some things to like, some things not to like. But in that next game against Minnesota, it's about kind of seeing how big this rotation could be. I want to see the main Bulls team close out a game. I think that's the next thing I want to see. But we'll move that to another video. Again, it's disappointing that we lost this game. Of course, it's not going to feel nice to lose. And a lot of people will still feel upset regardless of whether or not it matters. You still want to win the game. It's sad that we couldn't close it out, and we had opportunities to close it out, and we just didn't do it. So that's always frustrating. But I think we take the positives and the negatives, take it for what it is, and hope that they can improve it in the future. In that next game against Minnesota, if we get more offensive rebounds, which I think will be harder because we're versing a bigger team there, if we get offensive rebounds, got to finish them. Got to get those easy 2 points. Got to get those, you know, the easy ones. They're really, really easy to get, in my opinion, especially when you have the players the Bulls have. You got to finish them. And, of course, reducing turnovers and as well improving on the fouling issues. If we could get those issues in line, this Bulls team is going to be very, very hard to beat. And even today, the Bulls team was very hard to beat. They did beat the Bulls, but it wasn't easy for them. It was very, very difficult. And in the end, that's kind of how you want this Bulls team to play. You want every game to be a challenge. You want every team coming in and saying, this Chicago Bulls team will not be easy to beat. They're going to bring it defensively every single night. They have offensive talent as well. Players are improving. We may not be the best team in the East, but you want to be that team that is difficult to beat. And you want to walk away from the game feeling like the Bulls fought in that game, which is kind of how I felt in this timeout. But it is what it is. I'm not really going much into the player of the game and the must improve. Look, I'll just say the must improve is Patrick Williams. He had a good fourth quarter, but in the end, very disappointing overall. Player of the game is Zach. We'll move on from that one. The Zach and Kobe show. Sweet Life of Zach and Kobe. We'll put that in there. But yeah, what do you guys think about the game? And I apologize for not doing a watch along. Wednesdays are kind of my days to myself. Don't really, you know, very busy on Wednesdays. So pretty much every Wednesday for me, don't expect a watch along. But it is what it is. Next game against the Timberwolves, there should be a watch along there. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it, and I will end this video here. Thank you all so much for watching. Drop a like and a follow, and a subscribe if you are new. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care, and peace.